Hey, what's up guys? In today's video, we're going to go through two popular crypto wallets, TANGEM wallet and Descent wallet. So they're both cold storage solutions. We're going to review the pros and cons of each wallet and go through a few need-to-know features. So I know I've covered Ledger years ago, which I also still use. I'm just definitely steering clear of the Ledger Connect kit after the hack, and I'm not opting into any new features, but that's a whole nother conversation because I personally never want to trust a single company or a single hardware device to store all of my holdings. So anyways, after using both TANGEM and Descent, I figured I'd do a video to compare these two, and I'm sure many of you already have these wallets today, so I'll be sure to respect your time. We're going to share only relevant information, compare the security certifications, features. We'll also touch on the ArcPlate Guardian, so be sure to watch all of this one. I have a bunch of bullet points to go through, and I'll trim these clips together, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so first up, in terms of crypto wallets in general, I personally use multiple, so just like I diversify my crypto holdings between different assets, I also try to diversify where I store them, because I can't take that type of risk holding all of my assets in a single wallet with one set of private keys or just one passphrase, especially if it just takes me to make one stupid mistake, approving a malicious smart contract, going to an incorrect website, and potentially losing all of my funds. So that's just what's right for me and my own level of comfort in storing multiple keys. If you just have one wallet and you're properly backing up the keys, you're not connecting to any sketchy dApps, you should be fine. I see security being like an onion, so I want to add as many layers as possible. So for example, I have different alt holdings scattered between multiple wallets, and they each have their own set of private keys, and I know it might be a pain in the butt, but it's worth it for me, because if I ever misplaced one or lost it, I know I still have other holdings. So I'm speaking from experience because I have lost private keys before, probably back in 2018 on a paper wallet, because I wasn't storing them properly, and I've also had a hot wallet drained before, so I see a lot of value in self-custody cold storage. So first up, let's run through some bullet points for TANGEM. So this is hands down the fastest and easiest wallet that I've ever had to set up. It does take less than 3 minutes, so they're not exaggerating here. And so as it says here, a TANGEM wallet set contains up to 3 cards. You can also just buy 2, and each set is one single wallet, so one set of private keys. So the setup was extremely easy. I got 2 cards, so one is the primary card and the other one is set as the backup card, so they have the same set of private keys. So there's a secure chip that's stored right inside of these cards, so your private keys are stored offline. So this card, like others, has an NFC chip, so you can basically touch your phone with it, and NFC essentially just enables short-range wireless communication between the card and the phone. So the packaging was really simple. It comes with your cards, you take it out, you scan the QR code that takes you right to the TANGEM app. Make sure that you're scanning the QR code so that you ensure that you're going to the official TANGEM app. Once you do that, you basically set up your primary card, you set up your access PIN, and then you right away have your accounts. You can add your accounts for any crypto assets, get your deposit address, and use it like any other wallet. The most important part is with your second or third card. You have to make sure that you set them up as the backup card. So it's really important that you set up the entire set for all of those cards to be set up as backups, because if you ever lose your first card or primary card, you can always use your second card, tap your phone, and you can access your holdings and move them. So overall, I can see why a lot of people like TANGEM. There are some good benefits to this, but being on a phone, there are also security concerns, so there's not any wallet that's perfect. So one good thing to see here is that they've never been hacked since 2017. And this is really interesting to see this security standard, EAL6. So compared to Descent and Ledger, I believe both of those security standards are EAL5. So right here, TANGEM has a higher security standard. So this higher security standard basically involves more rigorous testing and verification processes, making it more suitable for environments with a higher threat level. But I also want to emphasize, for most commercial applications, EAL5, which is what Ledger and Descent have, it can be completely sufficient. It's just dependent on, for critical applications in high-risk environments, the 6th security standard that TANGEM has would be more appropriate. So based off this standard, TANGEM has a higher assurance level. Alright, let's check out the roadmap. We're going to go over some features, some pros, and then some concerns, and then we're going to dive into Descent. Okay, so taking a look at their Q2 roadmap, we can see 15 more networks are on the way. We have different colored options. We have TANGEM Pay and the TANGEM Ring that's going to be launching this summer. So we can see a list here of new network releases, more card options, and potentially a stealth card in the future. New on and off ramps with the best rates, so that'll be convenient to be able to buy and sell right within your wallet. We have 6+ new features right within the app, which will be nice. We have staking for 12 new coins and then more in the future. And their new product, instead of just a card, a TANGEM Ring, which seems pretty cool. And for future reference, I have a TANGEM link in the video description along within my link tree. You don't have to use it, but it does come with a 10% discount. We can also see TANGEM Pay expected to start in June. TANGEM Pay is a payment system powered by Visa, which allows you to spend your crypto anywhere in the world from the safety of your cold wallet. Alright, a few more things I just want to cover as much as possible. Of course, you can always access the TANGEM help guide, same thing with Decent. So basically for the TANGEM card, as long as you have a cell phone that supports today's NFC functionality and iPhone and Android, you should be good to go. And there are no transaction limits or tracking, so TANGEM isn't tracking what you're doing and you can send as much crypto as you want. It also sounds like they're working on allowing users to create a passphrase within the TANGEM wallet. Right now you can import one, but you're unable to create one. So for example, if you had a 24-word seed phrase, you can add an additional word to that seed phrase. Now when you go to TANGEM, we can see that they have audits and you can actually track if your card has been audited right within the app. And this is important. In a recent AMA, TANGEM wants to address their approach to open source code and security audits. Our TANGEM app is open source, which means that users with development skills can review and rebuild the code. However, our wallet firmware is closed source. We decided to prevent potential security risks like hackers cloning the firmware to create counterfeit TANGEM cards. To ensure the integrity and security of our wallet, we've undergone audits by leading cybersecurity firms. So this can be a red flag to some, others might understand. Alright, so what else? So right on the website, you can scroll down and see which assets they support by just typing in your coin, and they also do support NFTs, but right now the way to do it is just connecting to dApps like OpenSea, so it seems like they're working on different features for better native in-app functionality. Alright, so final points for TANGEM. I like it. You don't have to worry about charging a battery for a hardware device. It's just a card. They've been around for years. It comes with a warranty. They've had audits. It's never been hacked. It has the same security standards as international passports, and nobody can hack this chip and update it with malicious firmware. So the firmware is closed source, but the TANGEM code is open source, and that's available on GitHub. If TANGEM ever went out of business, we could still access our funds. And I've heard that the secure element chip in the card, it's not open source because it's designed and manufactured by Samsung. So really the most important thing about using TANGEM is keeping your phone secure. So whether it's your main phone or you just have a separate smartphone just used for crypto, make sure that you don't have any hacks, you don't have any malware. If your phone has any concerns whatsoever, I wouldn't recommend using TANGEM. And in that case, a hardware device like Decent, Ledger, or any others on the market would be better, because any malware that is on your phone that can record your phone screen or log keys that you're typing, you could be in trouble. And one last point with how I use TANGEM, I use the private keys that come with the wallet or right within the card itself. I know that we could import an existing wallet into TANGEM with the 24-word phrase, but then that comes with security concerns each time you're typing in the seed phrase on your phone, which isn't as secure or safe as like typing it on your cold storage device itself. So in that regard, others may prefer a hardware device like Ledger, Decent, etc., but it's up to each person's preference if they want to have 24 words to store instead of relying on never losing the TANGEM cards. That makes sense. So it's really up to each person. I'm not saying that one way is better than the other. There are pros and cons to all of these wallets. I've also seen rumors that TANGEM's working on multiple wallets for a single card, so we'll keep tabs. Alright, let's run through Decent, and for future questions with any specific questions about these wallets, you can just visit the websites linked in the video description. You can go right to their help center. So for TANGEM, with a 3-card set, it is $63, and a 2-card set is $49. And for Decent, they do offer a hardware device, which is a little more expensive, but they also offer a card that is technically a little cheaper than TANGEM. So the hardware device with the thumbprint is a little over $100, whereas the card or the all-in-one backup package is $38, so this is cheaper than TANGEM. So Decent Wallet is really easy to use. They've been around for years. We can see support for over 3,000 tokens. And the setup guides are really detailed, so it is pretty easy. It just takes a little longer than TANGEM though, because you have to confirm your 24 words. You only need to do it once, so once you go through the initial setup, you're good to go. And the hardware device is a biometric device, so if you lose your thumbprint or your fingerprint that you used, that's okay, you just need to put in your PIN. So if you keep your PIN safe, you're good to go. And also, when using Bluetooth, just a friendly reminder that the private key is never transmitted across the Bluetooth. The only thing that's coming and going to the device is a cryptographic request and approval. So even if somebody got a hold of your Bluetooth, your messages are encrypted and they're verified with the hash. And I saw the Crypto Dad on YouTube do a great overview of this. And best practices include just always keeping your firmware updated under the support tab in the firmware update, just to make sure you're always running the latest version for security patches, bug fixes, and crypto support. And regarding using the device cable for a firmware update, the device has an integrity check, so it's always making sure that the firmware is genuine. So after you update your firmware, you can disconnect the cable and you can just use Bluetooth between the hardware device and your phone, so it's super easy. And receiving assets is simple, just like any other wallet. You can just copy your address, or you can just share that address to your own email so that you have your deposit address. You can throw some deposit addresses in your password manager or wherever you want to put them. And sending crypto is really easy. You can see all of your transaction history right in the application just under the crypto or your holdings. And the most important part for any crypto wallet is making sure that you're storing your private keys in multiple places. You have multiple backups. They're not in the same place. And just listing off different best practices, it's good to stay paranoid in this space. When you're generating your seed phrase on Decent, make sure that other windows on your PC are closed and any webcams are off. Make sure you're writing down all the 24 words carefully, double check the spelling, do the same thing and write a second copy, and store those 2 pieces of paper somewhere safe. And just make sure to take your time and download the official mobile app from Decent's website linked in the video description. You don't want to download a fake app. Alright, so I think we introduced TANGEM and Decent well enough. If you have any specific questions about the product, about the firmware, you can always refer to the user guide. And last but not least, guys, I quickly wanted to highlight this asset recovery key plate, the Arc Plate Guardian on the TAI project. This is linked in the video description. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with Tyler Boone. Some of you already have some of these key plates. If you're in the XRP community, the Hedera community, the Gala community, etc. So what's really cool about this asset recovery key plate is it supports a bunch of wallets: Ledger, Decent, Hashpack, Trust, and more. And they also have collaborations with Hashpack, even the XRP wallet Zaman, so they did this in direct collaboration with the XRPL Labs team. So they're in talks with a variety of networks. This will be the key plate that I'm using going forward. Not that I'm buying one for every single wallet I have, but for my most important holdings I will be. So even considering DREC Alliance, that still ways away, and there are millions of people that have 12-word or 24-word seed phrases, and a lot of people actually handwrite them on a piece of paper, and I don't want to solely trust a piece of paper. Of course, making multiple backups, you can do digital backups, but I'd much rather just have a metal plate for my biggest holdings. So this Guardian directly records the first 4 unique letters of your seed words. So that's all that's required. You don't need the full word. If it's 5 letters or 10 letters, it only requires 4. They just add the full word for us humans to easily remember the seed phrase. What's cool about this thing is indestructible. You could hold a blowtorch to it. You could put it in the ocean for years and it would be fine. And they also do custom engravings. If you had a special order and you wanted to put, your company logo or your name up top, you could. So this metal plate is pure steel, and you actually use this pen and you just punch divots into the first 4 letters. So you're making these indents, and the punch divots are not going to show on the opposite side. And the cool thing about this is it's really small, it fits nicely. And the really nice thing is that the letter rows are repeated for each seed phrase section, so there's redundancy. If the plate ever got scratched or damaged, you'd still be able to decipher it. So this is a really cool metal plate. They've been around for years. You can see on the left-hand side they have keychains, wearables, rings, guitar picks. And I really like the concept of storing my keys securely, completely offline, nothing digital. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video covering TANGEM, Decent, and the Arc Plate. They're all linked in the top of the YouTube video description, and I will catch you in the next one.